Today I effed up by showing my girlfriend my actual strength. Standard. This did not happen today. Actually a few years back. So, when my then GF and I started dating, I discovered early on that she can be quite physical. In the sense that she likes to push, hold, punch even. Bear in mind she is not actually trying to hurt me, she is just playful like that. I found this both adorable and fun, so I played along. And here is the fuck up. If she pushed me, I would act like I had to balance myself, or if the bed sofa was nearby I would fall onto it. If she held me, I would pretend that it was difficult for me to get out of her grip. If I pushed her and she resisted, I would pretend it was hard work. Same with me holding her arms, etc. You get the idea. I always assumed she knew I was playing along and not actually physically straining myself to compete with her strength. This went on for months. One day, we were chilling on the sofa, watching a show when I realized I was running late to meet some friends. I told her I need to shower and make a move. She decided this was a good time for a play fight. She sat on top of me to pin my arms under her knees. I played along and struggled to move her off me. A little more wrestling took place, with me playing along like I do. Then I told her I really need to make a move. She was not done and continued to push me back onto the sofa. Eventually I decided I need to win this little fight and get going. So, I got her onto her back, held her hands near her head, and leant down to kiss her on the cheeks a few times and let her know again that I'm running late. She tried to move her arms and could not. Whilst struggling she grunted out, "Why are you so strong today?" I laughed, fuck up number 2, and looked at her like she was joking. Her eyes went wide with comprehension and she stopped struggling. "You are always this strong?" she asked, almost to herself. "Come on babe, you did not really think we are of equal strength, did you?" I replied. I then went to take a shower, got ready, and as I was heading out the door, I noticed that she might have been a little glum. Me, being fully aware that I do not fully comprehend the mystery of female emotions, had no clue why she was upset. I did what all men do, I guessed. I gave her a kiss and said I won't be gone for long and that I can pick up her favorite Chinese on the way back. I assumed she was upset about me not spending the afternoon with her. No reply. Fuck up number 3. I should have spent some time talking it through. I instead went on my merry way and had a great fucking time with my friends. She spent the next few hours brewing, simmering, seething, and of course overthinking. I came home with the Chinese, and as soon as I put it down on the dining table, she sprung out of the corner and attacked me. It genuinely surprised me, and I reacted by bear hugging her to my chest. She struggled with more force than she normally would, and I just held her. I kept asking what was wrong. She gritted her teeth and said, "You lied to me." Eventually she stopped trying to fight me, and I let her go. She then told me how she feels like I lied to her about our fights and that really all the time I was laughing at her in my head as I pretended that she was actually winning. I tried to take the conversation seriously, but come on, how the fuck am I supposed to take this seriously? So I may have been somewhat mocking, flirting, and generally being an ass about the whole thing. A week later she broke up with me. FML. TLDR, I pretended my girlfriend and we were of equal strength. Edit 1. Haha, this got a lot more attention than I was expecting. Firstly, there's a lot of "she's so stupid, crazy, insane etc. It's a bit mean. Yeah, she reacted drastically, but overall she is a good person. Secondly, it's shocking how polarizing the comments are. There's a lot of comments along the lines of "how the fuck did she not know?" and honestly loads of comments from both guys and girls about how girls can be surprised when they first realize a difference in raw strength. Big shout out to a Starbrightster for her comment. It's one of the top comments, and rightly so. Today I effed up by accidentally telling my boyfriend's mom that I will suck him off at family Christmas. So the story goes, my boyfriend, M, 25, is yet to pass his driving test and his parents have been encouraging him to get it done ASAP. So earlier this year, I, F, 26, wrote up a contract detailing how I will incentivize him different ways in the bedroom at each stage to keep him motivated, with the end goal being him passing the test obviously. After the lovely Christmas lunch with his extended family, many of whom I met for the first time, I decided to take my anti-anxiety medication to calm down a little bit and to enjoy myself a bit more. This is where I fucked up. We went back to the dining room for some desserts and after, some of us, including my boyfriend and I, went to the lounge to chill and chat a bit. The topic of his driving test came up with his mom telling his uncle that I was helping him. To which, my medicated self replied, "We have a contract in place that I cannot share the details of," and smiled. At this point, I didn't hear this "thank you" medication, but according to my boyfriend who was giving me a WTF look, his mother said, "Sexual favors? What do you think, we were born yesterday?" and started laughing between herself and his uncle. She then also went on to say, if that doesn't work, whip him to me. I, at this point, realized I fucked up and said I had 2 sips of wine. I don't drink for medical reasons, and started mumbling. My boyfriend was laughing while giving me a WTF look, so we said we'd talk about it later. TLDR, edited. Took my anxiety medication, loudly told my boyfriend's mother that I would do sexual favors for him when he passed his driving test. Today I effed up by lying about when I had last been with another woman. Edit, it's detail-led long-winded. Just skip if you don't want to read. This is pretty fresh, so I feel like I may be rambling a bit, but here goes. Last summer really fall, I had gotten out of a supremely toxic relationship with my emotional or verbally abusive girlfriend, which officially ended last in October. I know stereotypes that people will talk about their past relationships in a bad light, but this was someone that drove her vehicle onto a curb median in the middle of Main City Street to prove some kind of point while screaming at me, running red lights so that I couldn't exit the vehicle on my own accord. Needless to say, I had dropped most contact until closer to the holidays, when I got an out of the blue apology for the way I was treated, telling me she had been doing a lot of work on herself and realized how she let the things going on in her life bleed into the way she treated me. Having been a close to 2-year-long relationship, I obviously still cared about her to a certain extent. However, whatever love I had for her had been tainted and was mostly destroyed by the way I was treated. Regardless, I chose to maintain contact with her, knowing full well about the absolute hell she had put me through. In hindsight, this was my first mistake chronologically, but second in terms of weight. I finally got up the nerve to put myself out there and had started dating again close to January after a fling with an older woman I'd known for years. I'm early 30s and her late 40s. I made a promise to myself that I was going to date with intent to find my person. That meant no sex or cups at all, and even avoiding situations that would lead to a kiss on the first date if the opportunity arose. Respectful and with the sole purpose of getting to know the person. Few good dates here and there, but nothing worth mention. Through healing from my last relationship, I made a promise to not overlook red flags in hopes that they are only fleeting. So, most of the interactions ended after a few dates with me thanking them for their time and telling them that I enjoyed the time spent, but that I didn't feel like it was what I was looking for. Fast forward a few months, I ended up going out on a date with a woman that traveled for work. I felt like we hit it off instantly. Same sense of humor, very similar tastes, same page on the important topics, etc. She was amazing. We went on a couple chill dates here and there, nothing too serious. Just chatted and enjoyed each other's company. After a few weeks and her week-long trip back home, things got cold. Stopped getting responses as frequently. I made another attempt at seeing her again. She ended up telling me that she had decided to take a step forward with another relationship. We were obviously both going on dates and we are both adults here. Regardless, I was pretty bummed out at first, but kept up the friendship because that's what's important to me. I could tell that she is a great person, and I felt like she was someone I wanted in my life. I continued to go on dates and kept mild communication with my ex. Eventually curiosity got the best of me. I was having poor luck dating, and my ex was showing interest in seeing me. I wanted to see how she was doing. Like an idiot, I invited her over. I made it clear that I just wanted to catch up. We talked for a bit, watched a movie. It was pretty clear that she hadn't changed at all. Halfway through the movie, it started storming pretty bad, and she didn't feel comfortable driving. Tornadoes were on the ground in some areas, so I didn't blame her, but it was time for me to go to sleep. I have a huge bed, and didn't want to make her sleep on a couch. I was single, and didn't have any reason to, other than to protect my own sanity. As you've probably already guessed, she came onto me as I laid there with my back turned trying to fall asleep. It was like falling back into a bad habit. Obviously I had a choice, but she absolutely took advantage of my kindness compassion in order to stay in the first place. For anyone that's been in a similar situation, when you're single and don't have any major warning lights going off in your mental dashboard, you're almost on autopilot. It had been almost a year since we separated, and prior to that, the relationship had already been on the rocks many times over. So by this point, I hadn't been attached emotionally for quite some time. I had nothing other than general compassion for someone I once loved. The next morning she left, before I woke up. When I finally opened my eyes, I just laid there staring up at my ceiling confused, disappointed and almost ashamed that I didn't do anything differently. I didn't say anything to her for most of the day until she asked me if the night before was weird. I told her that it was, and that it wasn't what I had planned. that I didn't regret it. I wasn't upset, even though both of those were not entirely true the more I thought about it, and that something was off about it. I was the one that got taken advantage of, and there I was trying to let her down softly. Communication didn't go much further than her eventually trying to get a rise out of me with an off-the-wall hateful comment designed to get me to interact. Having already been attuned to this without being blinded by emotions, I responded tactfully in a manner that didn't feed into it, but still put it to rest. That was the end. The actual end. Next thing I know, an exact week later, I get a text from the traveler letting me know that she was breaking up with her BF. We ended up hanging out quite a few times over the next couple weeks. One in particular, she let me bring her some coffee the same day we already hung out. Something that I had offered and was turned down on after a couple of our first dates back in the beginning. I felt like it was fairly clear that she wanted to see me and was still interested. Eventually she expressed interest in coming over to my house. I had already been to hers quite a few times while interested, yet still platonically at this point, so I wasn't expecting anything. We watched a movie and laid there talking about all kinds of stuff. This is where I truly fucked up worse than I've ever fucked up in my life. We ended up on the topic of past relationships, and, in a negative light, she made mention of a situation that in my mind directly mirrored the timing of my past month's events. Obviously this put me on edge. At some point she asked me about my past with sexual interactions. She told me that she didn't care, but wanted to know. JFC. I said that I had been pretty much celibate for the last 6 months. She said really? And I am MHM. What kind of $ing idiot I am? In my head I had already written off the interaction with my ex because I felt taken advantage of. Some part of me felt like it almost didn't count. Like, that doesn't even make sense when I say it out loud. For the life of me, I can't understand why I thought that was a good idea. Later on that night, she ended up professing that she wanted to date me exclusively. I just started off a relationship with the woman of my dreams with a stupid lie that probably wouldn't have been that big of a deal. The next couple months was an absolute dream. It felt like the time we spent together platonically before now just made our connection grow stronger and faster than normal. Everything this woman does is amazing. I took her to meet my family and my friends. Across the board they gave a solid 11/10. They all thought she was awesome. We complement each other's personalities like puzzle pieces. She treated me better than I had ever been treated, and she said that I did the same for her. We talked about everything. I wasn't afraid to tell her anything. I was already crazy about her, but I fell in love. Like a real love. Not simple infatuation, but a love that, for the first time in my life, was reciprocated fully and beyond what I had hoped for. Making love was the most amazing experience I've ever shared with someone. What we had felt real, connected and free of any fear or anxiety. Yesterday morning it all came crumbling down around me. We were going to meet up with my sister to pick something up, and my sister told me that my ex was at the bar too. I didn't want to see her, but I also wasn't afraid or anything. She decided that we should opt to stay in the car. We went back home and relaxed. She ended up giving me the first massage any girlfriend had ever given me. It was past midnight at this point and I already sleep on my stomach. So, I fell asleep after about 5 to 10 minutes. Apparently the interaction we had earlier sparked a question in her head. She works night shift, so I'm sure she sat up most of the nights thinking about it. When we woke up, I went to give her a hug and kiss, but instead of the usual warm loving interaction, she kind of made distance between us in the bed and said that she needed to ask me about something. I could tell that she wasn't happy, but I didn't know why. Then she directly asked me when was the last time I had been with my ex. In all of my relationships, I've always been a loyal, faithful partner. I may not have told the whole truth before, but I'm not a liar, and I didn't lie in the first place for any malicious reason. I was just scared of having something amazing blow up in my face over a stupid choice I made that already resolved itself prior to this relationship. This is someone that I love. This is someone that for the last month I had been cultivating a relationship free of fear, doubts, and anxiety. I told her the truth. I have so much more to lose now, and I chose to tell the truth. Somehow it seemed like she already knew. She is a couple weeks out from going out of state for her next assignment and now she doesn't know if she can trust me. I can't blame her. I told her an unsolicited lie. Regardless of my reasons, I wasn't honest about it. So currently my relationship is teetering towards destruction and I feel like a part of me is dying while I wait to find out what she decides. Just tell the truth. Even if the truth sucks, it's better than this. TLDR. I told the woman of my dreams an unsolicited lie about how long it had been since I was with another woman, my ex. She asked later on, and I came clean. She travels for work and doesn't know if she can trust me anymore. Don't lie. especially to people you care about.